Picture this. You're hanging out with some friends when suddenly someone shouts, "Hey, look over there." You turn your head and see something amazing. Then before you can process what's happening, someone yells, "No, no, don't look there." What do? Do you hold your ground or do you obey and look away? This is exactly what happened to three friends named Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. And their story will inspire you to take a stand for what you believe in. So let's dive into the story and learn about the faith of these three friends. In ancient times, there was a mighty king named Nebuchadnezzar who ruled over the Babylonian Empire. He was known for his wealth, power and impressive building projects, especially his magnificent palace in the city of Babylon. Now, one day King Nebuchadnezzar decided to throw a huge party and invite all the nobles and rulers from around the empire. He wanted to show off his wealth and power and make them all jealous. During the party, he had all the musicians play beautiful music and all the dancers dance fancy dances. But the most impressive thing he did was set up a giant golden statue in the middle of the courtyard. It was so tall and shiny that everyone at the party was amazed by it. Then the king made an announcement. He said, "Listen up, everyone. Whenever you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre and psalterian, drums and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the golden statue I have set up. Whoever doesn't fall down and worship will be burned alive in a blazing fire." Everyone at the party was shocked. They couldn't believe the king would demand they bow down to an idol. But they were also scared. If they didn't obey, they would be killed. So everyone bowed down to the statue except for three friends, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. Now, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego were good friends. They always hung out together and had each other's backs. But they were also brave and faithful. They knew that bowing down to idols was wrong, so they refused to obey the king's command. When King Nebuchadnezzar heard that they hadn't bowed down, he was furious. He couldn't believe anyone would defy him, so he commanded his guards to bring the three friends to him. When Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego stood before the king, Nebuchadnezzar asked them, "Why didn't you bow down and worship the golden statue when I commanded you, Shadrach?" Meshach and Abednego replied in unison, "Our God, whom we serve, is the one we will worship. He is the one we will obey, and he is the one we will follow. And we will not bow down to your golden statue." King Nebuchadnezzar was enraged. He couldn't believe anyone would defy him. So, he made his furnace 7 times hotter than usual and commanded his guards to throw the three friends in. As the furnace heated up, the flames grew higher and higher until they were almost touching the ceiling. The guards were terrified to go inside because they knew it was hot enough to burn anyone alive. But they had no choice. They had to do what the king commanded. So they grabbed Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego and threw them into the fire. As soon as the friends entered the furnace, the flames immediately engulfed them. For a moment, everything seemed hopeless. It looked like the three friends were going to be burned alive. But then something incredible happened. A strong wind began to blow through the furnace, and the flames parted, revealing a fourth figure walking among them. It was an angel sent by God to protect the three friends. When the guards looked inside the furnace, they saw that the three friends were not burning. In fact, they weren't even in pain. They were standing calmly inside the fire, and the angel was walking between them. The guards were amazed. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. They fell to their knees and cried out, "Great is the God you serve." Then the angel turned to the three friends and said, "Come with me." So Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego followed the angel out of the furnace. As they walked, the flames parted, and when they came out, they were not even covered in soot. In fact, they didn't even smell like smoke. The guards were stunned. They couldn't believe that the three friends had survived the fire unharmed. When King Nebuchadnezzar heard what had happened, he was amazed. He couldn't believe that a god could protect his people from a fire that hot. So he went to see the three friends for himself. He was expecting to see them burnt and black, but instead, they were standing before him, unharmed and happy. The king was shocked. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Nebuchadnezzar then asked the three friends how they had survived the fire. and they told him about the angel that God had sent to help them. The king was amazed. He couldn't believe that God was so powerful. He had never heard of a God like this before. So he fell to his knees and worshipped the God of Israel, praising him for his power and faithfulness. From that day on, King Nebuchadnezzar and all the people in his kingdom knew that there was no other God like the God of Israel. He was the true God, and he was worthy to be praised and worshipped. The story of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego is a reminder for us today that when we stand for what we believe in, God will stand with us, no matter what we face. It takes courage to stand up for what you believe in, especially when others are pressuring you to do something you know is wrong. But when you do, you can trust that God will be with you and protect you. Just like the three friends, we may face challenges and persecution for our beliefs, but we can trust that God will help us through. And if we stay faithful, He will reward us. So next time you are faced with a tough decision and feel pressured to do something you know is wrong, remember the story of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. Stand firm in your faith and trust that God will help you. Don't be afraid to speak up for what you believe in, because when you do, you can be sure that God is on your side. Remember, you're awesome just the way you are. Keep being you and never stop believing in God. And hey, if you want to keep watching, just tap on that screen right now. See you next time. Peace out.